human perspective.
Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining. What's up, Michelle?
Hey, bro. I don't know if we're playing on YouTube right now, but
Yeah,
fingers
we're playing
crossed.
there, and we have 8 people watching. I'm just not able to find where we're playing. So, we're there.
Oh, okay.
I
All
don't know.
right. Maybe I got a delay on this because I'm trying to
No, I think
see if it's coming up here.
they're doing something different, guys. So, I
Yeah,
probably,
you just switch over your some kind of
yeah,
configuration, so we're not totally sure if it's working.
I believe it's working as far as, I, be- I believe we're live right now. It says that we're live. It's sending the data.
I've got that.
Right, but I think we're playing somewhere else. Has that ever happened to you where you're watching a live thing and then it starts somewhere else? So
Oh, maybe.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to
Well,
find
I
it so I can
haven't.
put the link where we're, because I've got that window open too and it looks like we're not going, but
All right.
everywhere else looks
Okay,
like we're
cool. All
going. So
right.
Facebook, nobody
We'll
watching.
keep
We got
it.
11 people watching on YouTube somehow. So what's up, you guys? I can't find you guys. I can't find myself. I can't find my own broadcast. Weird, but
Oh, well.
at any rate, we are there.
As long
People
as
are watching.
somebody's picking us up
Yeah.
and can hear
So
us. Cool.
a matter of finding the chat in the meantime. Oh, the chat's working. I can see the chat on my screen over there, but
Oh, okay.
sending love.
What's
Okay.
everybody saying?
John Benny, yay, it works, he's
Hey,
saying.
John.
Okay. So it's
Hi,
there
John.
somewhere. I
Okay.
wish somebody could text me the link or something. I'm on my own channel. Nothing.
No, yeah, I know it's not coming up for me on here. So, I don't know. But
The
somebody's.
weirdest thing. Anyway, YouTube is making some changes. They said that they were going to quit the streaming thing and start the events thing. I set it up under the streaming thing, which is what I'm looking at. That doesn't look like
Oh,
it's doing anything. Is it
all
starting to
right.
play?
I got it on here now. So,
It was
yes.
a different place, or
No, it just wasn't. I went to the same thing. I went to
okay? Let me.
notifications. There's a delay, I think, on my end. So,
Okay, let me
all right.
actually
We're
refresh
cool.
my page and see if it comes up.
That's cool. It's playing
That'd be
now.
really handy if that's how it works. Nah, it's not working like that for me either. Okay. All right, so here we are. That's the equinox. Energies. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And we're both feeling a little struck dumb. Like,
Yeah. We were talking about right where
a
we
little numb.
just don't have much to say. I haven't even got on and had, well, I didn't feel very good the other day, so I didn't do the live stream or whatever. But yeah, I've had waves of nausea that's come over, loss of appetite, weird, and I don't have any flus or COVID or anything. Just for the
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
So
Just
other than
saying.
that, yeah, I just weird sleep patterns. The energy's been really, I don't know.
Headachy coming and going too. Lots of head pressure,
Yeah.
and even with some headache a bit, and the bit of neck pressure too with that. So, um, yeah, it's the sleep patterns being off and wonky, and
Yeah.
yeah, just floaty. Not really sure, how to feel. Yeah, weird feeling, but
Really, and like I had this. I don't know. It was sort of a in meditation time. I sometimes I'll get a picture with the energies, right? Like sort of a little cartoon, a funny thing
hmm
with what's kind of in the air, if you will. The
hmm
energies. So I'm imagining someone is like on an ice skating rink, just standing there, and they're trying to hold their balance. And there's these broomsticks that look like they're like in the ice, and you can kind of hang on to them. But as soon as you go to grab onto one of them, you realize they're just balanced on their ends. They're not really in the ice. They're not solid
right,
at all. So you begin to try to grab these things to help hold your balance, and nothing's helping you hold your balance because they're just flimsy, And really,
Yeah.
the only way is to sort of get your stance, your poise, to stand within, to get your balance within yourself. Like all of these things, these flimsy things around us, are going to
Yeah.
reveal themselves as being just what they are, just flimsy ideas. You know, and it really
Yeah.
is. It's like a war of ideas in a way, isn't it?
I am really feeling like the out of bounds, like feeling too. Like really, like yesterday my legs were just wobbly, like really weak, and I have to be very centered and present with myself, sort of each step that I'm taking, and be aware that I'm within my own head, not outside moving ahead too fast. Accidents will happen. Yeah, just pacing everything and keeping centered. But it's maybe, feeling really quiet lately too.
Yeah,
Not
it kind of forces you
having,
back to yourself, doesn't it? Just
yeah, and just kind of observing everything. It's like the more that everybody else has to say out there, the less I feel I have to say.
right. And it really
Yeah,
is. It
which makes
really
me a
is.
little boring guest for today, maybe.
But no, no, I've been picking up on the same exact thing, and it is like that. It's like, oh, let me turn it down. I can pull it up on my phone just fine. Looks like awesome. Yeah. So for some reason, sorry for people on the PC, they might have a little trouble accessing it. Oh, there's a link John put in there. I couldn't get to it to click the link though, John. That's funny. Okay. So yeah, and I've been feeling more and more like that. Like it's like the time for finding that balance between information and going within and really being present. And it's like, oh, so many times we're like addicts to the information, and we just want more and
Yeah.
more and more. And you can feel it pulling your vibration down, but it's like the more you're present, the more you go within, the more you feel that higher vibrational awareness, and the less you want to move away from that and go back to that chaos. So that's kind of where I find
Yeah.
myself right now, and it's
I
like
think,
the more I kind
yeah.
of extend out to other people, the more they want to bring in these stories and this drama that I'm just, I just don't really want to. It's just flimsy stuff, you know what I mean? And you see it for what it
Mhm.
is, and it's just, it's a wake up call for some, but for others, it's just a distraction. So that's kind of where I am with a lot of the stuff.
I do think that this energy that's coming in right now is kind of raising questions within people, or making them more aware of the effect of, this addiction to drama that, many people can have, like to varying degrees, whether it's being involved in gossip or your neighbor's business or your family's business and their drama, or being, the drama that's going on outside in the world. And there's lots to talk about. There's lots we can choose to get involved. But it's just kind of a weird place of sort of observing everything, but not feeling emotionally attached to it and its results in any way. Like no matter what direction it goes, it's just like a show. Um, yeah, and not feeling energetically attached to it. So there's not really much to say
It's funny,
when
John
you're,
saying, I literally have no idea about the news, none. And Bilbo saying, probably for the best. And that's what it was like. Somebody called in and they were saying something about something going on in Kenosha. And I'd heard a few different stories about a few different things going on, about stuff. But I still wasn't sure. And I'm like, I feel bad because I'm not even quite sure what she's talking about. You know what I mean? Because I haven't,
Mhm.
it's just another story, you know what I mean, at this point, just to pull you
Well,
away.
well, it's a choice. Like it really is a choice. Like on what that's how you can see too that people can perceive all different realities. The choice of their reality and their perception of it, and what they choose to focus on, becomes your reality and your experience and what you're emotionally tied to.
Hmm.
So, um,
And you remember we talked about how I was getting that feeling of pointing in the right direction, the whole arrow thing that kept coming up.
arrows, yes.
And
Hmm.
it's like, look, this energy that's coming in, you want to be headed in the right direction when you get that shove, right? So
That's it.
you don't want to
Yeah.
be focused on what you don't want and then get shoved in that direction. You want to focus on what you do want, and I think
Yeah.
now is the time that we go within and find what we're looking for because I love that sailing song that I shared.
Yes.
I actually did a post. I'd been watching. I'd watched Vanessa VA's video, and her video was like this choice, to sort of move on to this Christ consciousness arc, right, or to stay in this lower vibrational muck of all of this, division and fighting and chaos and all of that, and really taking that conscious choice. And it was so cool because she was talking about taking this, staying on the consciousness arc, if you will, and she was going to share a song at the end, and clear as a bell, that song "Sailing" from Christopher Cross. From haven't heard it in decades, yet it starts playing clearly in my head, and it
Hmm.
was it was just about that. You know what I mean? And the song itself takes you to that place when you listen
Yeah.
to it. For me, it does. And I was like, this is so amazing because the song's about taking you to this place that the song itself takes you to. Especially with the nostalgia of hearing it as such a young child and having that sort of childhood excitement and just that feeling that comes with listening to that song from when I was 5 years old or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
There's certain songs, like I mentioned to you earlier, there's certain songs that when you hear them, it literally feels like it's being played inside of you.
right,
Like it's strumming the chords inside of you. It's a part of your story and your
right,
yeah, and it's funny you got that in my head. Well, we like to share music back and forth, Shane and I, right? And you sent me that one this week, and I think it's so funny. Last week the song that was brought to my attention was "Sail,"
right. By AWOL Nation.
Dual Nation, and then this week you bringing "Sailing" to my attention too. It's interesting, and I do see a lot of people really talking about and noticing the songs
Mm-hmm.
and asking questions of the songs and looking for those answers. Like Nathan has talked about before, and
Right.
I do see a lot of people sort of exploring that, continue to explore those messages. It's I think a very personal conversation um, that you can have. But I also think that once you start to learn how to listen to that conversation,
Yeah.
it's not just in the songs, it's then like in your entire experience. You can look for that in things playing out, in things that are brought to your attention and brought to your
Absolutely.
awareness in everything, right?
Yeah.
There's archetypes, themes, symbols with deep meanings um about energy and the time that we're at, the cycle that we're in, and it can really give you a lot of information about where you are with your process and sort of how it's moving you forward and how you're experiencing it right now. But it's a very personal, and I think that sometimes it can even trigger on purpose.
Right.
It'll bring out and point out sometimes what you don't want to hear to show you your reaction. So like I said, it's a
Absolutely.
very
Yeah.
personal conversation.
Right.
Sometimes it likes to laugh at you a little bit. You'll
Right.
get some funny responses, I think, when you ask those questions.
And
Would
it really
just kind of
is.
like, don't take yourself so seriously, or you may have a lot of demands, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, a lot of it, for me anyway, I've noticed that just being present, being in the moment, you'll notice things that you don't notice when you're worrying about the past or the future, right? So just hearing that song play in my head, I could have totally missed it. I don't know how many times I've woke up, I've got a song playing in my head, and it's like 2 hours into my day before I even realize I've been hearing this song for 2 hours. How did I not notice this song's been playing in my head, right? So
Yes.
so it's like it takes me waking up, but I guess there was a time when I never quite woke up for the day and I never quite noticed that song was playing. But I think, flipping through the stations, scanning through a station and finding a song or flipping through Pandora and is a really cool way of doing that. But you don't even need that because like that example I just gave, it just started playing in my head decades later. You know what I mean? It's like in there. So and it was almost like packed away, waiting for this time to be unpacked. Like songs keep doing that for me. Like Silent Lucidity was another one that meant one thing before, and now it's like a completely different song to me
I
now.
see it very similar to tarot cards, really, in a
Yeah,
way.
Yeah.
Because I like, if you look and you look at the album art and you sort of, you take a look at the song, what's the name of the artist, or you sort of let your intuition draw you to, as to what you're seeing and what it's trying to tell you. Even looking at the length of the song and the time, and looking up the meaning in Strong's Concordance. Like, there's so many different avenues you can sort of explore. It's very much like tarot cards, where you're having this intuitive conversation and then picking up on the archetypes and symbols and the art and the story arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Hmm.
that, like you said, it extends well beyond. It can be movies or it can be overheard conversations. Really, there's no limit to how the messages can come through. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I do find that it's really funny how the different themes will come up right now.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, even that, I sent an email to Vanessa to kind of elaborate a little bit more. But even within my own studies, I was like kind of shown how like, we've talked. In fact, I think I even mentioned on the show where I was talking about like how they viewed wind like thousands of years ago. They would have thought like a tornado was a monster, and they wouldn't have really understood it. They wouldn't have understood that the tornado is the same thing that they're breathing, and that they need it to be alive, and they'd have this very primitive view of wind and oxygen and all this, right? And then I was thinking that's similar to how we view consciousness now. We've mastered wind now. We use it to, create electricity or fly transportation or to blow leaves off of our driveway. We understand wind. We can predict tornadoes and hurricanes and all of that stuff, and some may say even cause it, right?
Hmm.
So we've mastered wind, and it's like consciousness is like that. I think a lot of times we create demons out of things, and like you might create a monster out of a tornado when you don't
Hmm.
understand it.
It's a natural force. Or a
Right.
force of nature.
Exactly.
It's not right. It's a force of
It's this
nature.
invisible force that clearly we can see how we can join
Yeah.
our power of intentions to create things and to affect things. That's all consciousness, right? So it's
Hmm.
like really we're moving into this new awareness of consciousness, like they must have done with wind thousands of years ago. And
That's
it's
really a great analogy.
right. So with all of that coming to me, this song "Sailing," right? And it's like about
Right.
sailing with wind, using wind, but it was also about your consciousness, sailing in your mind and finding that inner
Hmm.
bliss. So
Hmm.
all of this is tying together in such this beautiful picture of little synchronicities that and I think I've talked about the one thing before, so that all tied that together for me. So everything's all connected, and it's really
Yeah.
cool to see it
It really signifies sort of this time of Aquarius too, um
with the
because
water.
Aquarius is an air sign though, right? You think, oh, it's water, it's a water bear, but it isn't. It's an air sign.
Oh,
And yeah, and using that energy to go with the flow, in essence, down this river, right? The water energy is just really strong right now, as we learn, I think, to do that,
yeah,
and learn what flow is, and how to master it. So the air really comes in to fill our sails, and hmm been focusing on those natural elements, like you said, those natural forces lately, and a transition in energy, from fire and ice, or fire and water, and into these, bringing in this Aquarius age
yeah,
of air and earth, heaven and earth, air and
right.
earth. So I've been, I think, really simple with the meditations lately, and even the thought processes, and keeping it very elemental, on focusing on a balance of air and earth, heaven
Mm,
and earth within oneself.
right.
Yeah, that's what's playing. It's also been interesting in sort of having this growing understanding conceptually of the story in the stars,
Mm-hmm.
and all the symbolism there, and then watching Game of Thrones again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a show that you could go back and pick apart anyways, but it's been really fun, actually, the discussions we've been having uh, with mom about looking so much deeper at a deeper level into the symbolism of the characters in relation to really the constellation story arc
Mm.
of what's playing out, and how that applies to what's going on today. So it's really fun to go back and look at these different things, you know, that even maybe came out like 10 years ago. You look at them today and you're like, whoa. Just like we watched a video before the show together. And it's like, when that came out, it just looked like science fiction. And now you watch it and it's like, it's just has so much more meaning to it. Um,
Well, look at the
yeah.
pet goat ones, and it's,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and I think in a way, people. I know a lot of people see these connections and they'll see some of this stuff and see this predictive programming, but I think a lot of times people like unknowingly tap into stuff because I know I've done that on accident. I've done things that people could say, "Well, look, you predicted that. You're part of." I'm like, no, I did it on accident. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's like how often do we do things out of intuition that have such a bigger meaning? Like even the name of my channel, it's grown into something so much bigger
Yes.
than sort of my
Yes.
initial thought process with it. You know what I mean? So let
Absolutely.
me know that it felt like a little idea I came up with, but there was something bigger behind it, And even with the logo or so many little things, or people will tell you, when you said such and such, that had this huge effect on me, and you're like, I don't even remember saying that, you know what I mean? And it's like, we become these vessels. But I was shown how, like, the plants are going to grow, the flowers are going to grow, they're all going to be beautiful. And what we do is, how, like, sometimes if there's a valley, you can kind of reflect the sunlight down into the valley, and that's sort of like what we're doing. So the process is happening, but we can speed it up by helping shine that light of Creator God. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
in those around us, and really, so all of that other stuff is just distractions from that, I believe. So that's why I feel like, finding that centerpiece and shining our light. And you can totally see why they, want social distancing and stuff. If you're shining your light, and that heart energy is so strong when you're right next to someone, right? So,
Mhm. Oh, they
so,
feel it yeah, when you walk into a room, yeah.
right.
It's a change in energy. Mhm. Yeah, I had a friend share a dream with me over the last. It was very complex, but the first part of it I'll just reference, and that I do think it was really interesting. He had this experience of being in this massive net, and sort of dipping down into the depths of um the lower levels of consciousness in this net, and then bringing it back up. And it really spoke to me about how we are that net energetically, and sometimes, like, it's like, well, what do we do? What are we here to do right now? We're just kind of observing all this stuff and not really sure what to do with it. And that dream really spoke to how just being here and being the net. We are that net, all literally spread out like a grid, and it's dipping down into these lower levels to help pull the energy up for others who aren't capable of doing it themselves.
Right.
So that's a real mission. That's a real job, and it's a good thing to remember, when you're feeling, why am I here in this, madness, this
Exactly.
crazy time, and what's the point of this? And I just think it was a really beautiful image that we are that net. We just be the net. That's all you have to do, is just be the net. It's enough, you know.
And really, at that point, it's just, what do you have to do? We're human beings. We just need to be. We need to find our blissful place, whether that's
Hmm.
art or music or writing or gardening or whatever it is, and just let all the distractions go, because that's how you can, to find your own bliss and shine that light out. That's at this point, that's, in
Hmm.
my opinion, that's how we can help the most, because all the other things are going to fall in line. As soon as human consciousness raises to a certain level, we'll see that these systems don't work, and we'll redo it. But right now, if you tear it down, they're just going to replace it with lower consciousness systems. You know what I mean? With a new one. So it really takes us to really grow to a point of the new systems being actually new, right? A new Earth. So
Yeah, well, I do think in a lot of ways, this energy that's coming in is really going to short circuit people in a lot of that aren't focusing, inwards and really taking the time to go through their own emotions and their own process. And um, those people are so involved and distracted and in a need to, control their exterior environment and what's going on, feel like they have that control. They're literally going to short circuit. It's not going to be a pretty sight. And we're already seeing that, just this crazy raging behavior that there's no communication, there's no they're just snapping, like it's going to continue. So, and as a counter to that, and I think a lot of ways, you know I think it's sort of a counterbalance in a way. The more that's getting crazy, I'm feeling more subdued, and I
Right?
think it's important that we do to sort of counterweight that, so yeah, if you're feeling quiet and disinterested, I think that might be part of the counterbalance right now. There's a lot of that's short circuiting, being
Yeah.
too involved and need to have all your eggs in a basket to a certain outcome. It has to happen this way, or the whole world's going to fall apart. I don't know what I'll do. It can seem like that right now, but I think the energy is really asking us to surrender to outcome.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to that other analogy that I was shown, where it was like we're like these stringed instruments, and it's going to resonate with those around us, you
Yeah.
know. But the if we're distracted, then we're not vibrating as loud as we can in those higher vibrations, right? Because we're sort of getting pulled down. We're having our vibrations sort of numbed out too. But if we
Yeah.
can find our happy place and shine in that higher vibration, then that's vibrating out, and then others will resonate with that too. It's an energetic thing. So even within your neighborhoods, it's shining this invisible light of consciousness out.
Yeah. Well, we're having an opportunity to really carry our own unique individual tune with like sovereignty and pride, as
Yeah.
opposed to like realizing that you've been carrying somebody else's song and you actually don't need to do it anymore.
Right.
You really don't need to. So, or we can trade in our songs at any time. You can change your story, change your song.
Absolutely. As far as symptoms, we got an email that we can
Hmm.
discuss it. Have you had any symptoms that? Well,
Yeah, like the headaches and sleep disruptions, and I did have twitching. I did had a lot of body twitching over
mm-hmm.
the equinox, muscle twitching, the muscle spasms again. A lot of sensation, like actually really feeling the energy move like currents through my feet.
Right.
Felt that very strongly, like really thrumming. And yeah, what else? And just yeah, you see me. Bleh. I'm just like, this is it, guys. This is the way. This is how it is right now. I'm
But
good.
that's kind of how I
But
think we're supposed to. What 5 billion short-circuited
feeling
humans
a
get
little
the popcorn?
numbish. What was that? See?
5 billion short-circuited humans get the popcorn.
Yes.
I
Woo.
love that.
Yeah. It's
But we
definitely
need our circuits shorted sometimes, don't we, to wake us up?
it's happened to me. I've already been through it. It's happened to me, So
So
yeah, I get it.
I appreciate Maria for sending an email. I always appreciate emails of symptoms and stuff because
Me
a lot of
too.
times people don't have things that people to discuss these things with. So she had a few new symptoms that I could totally agree with. I've had some and I've been having some, and that one of them is temperature.
Yeah.
Her body gets really hot, like she's been in the sun, and then sometimes
Or really cold.
or sometimes she'll feel cold at the same time, even, and
Hmm.
like she can't get warm. So I've had some weird body temperature things too. It is the
Yeah.
weirdest feeling.
Yeah.
And the cold feels, oh my gosh, like you just can't get warm and you're just shivering. And it's not even that cold, but it feels like it's 0 degrees or something.
I've definitely had that. Yeah.
Let's see here. I've been experiencing a different kind of dizzy. Now, this is the one that I wanted to bring out because I feel like I've had this before. She says she's had vertigo. It's not that, although I've experienced that in the past. I'm struggling to find the words to describe it. It feels like as if I go through. Let me see if I can scroll this over.
It's like a
Go
wave.
through plasma fields.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, yeah,
You know
feels
the,
like
that
a wave
heat,
hits
yeah,
me.
that wavy heat effect that you get off of the streets. It's
Hmm.
like you go through a sheet of that, or that means like,
Yeah,
yeah. So I
yeah,
think I've had something similar to what she's trying to explain here.
and it make it
It makes you feel
for
dizzy,
me.
but
It
it's
kind of
not
makes me go like
r-
not swoony, but
right.
like
Disorienting.
whoa, like a warp. Sort of have to
Yeah,
hmm, rebalance, reconfigure myself.
yeah. Disorienting is a great
Yeah,
word because that's exactly what it feels like. Makes you feel disoriented, but you're not really dizzy. So,
yeah, it's more like a little bit of a swoony kind of thing, and then it's like okay, reconfigure,
right.
carry on.
I always
Yeah,
feel like it's, there was a shift right then. Like I feel
yeah.
like the Matrix when the deja vu thing happened, and because there's a weird feeling with it too, or there is with when I get it. Let's see, sometimes. Okay, body really sore at times. Um,
Hmm.
Achy body. I've had that before. I haven't had it recently. I did have the
Did
stomach issues.
just before it kicked in the equinox, I think after we were talking, I had a couple days where it was definitely achier and
Mm,
tired, and the sleep patterns changed, and then it went more to the head pressure for me, and a lot of muscle twitching.
mm-hmm.
Um,
See, I had
yeah,
some
and
soreness, but I did a
headaches
lot
and
of yard work, so
depressions.
right.
Yeah,
It's hard to tell.
yeah. No, this is like where it's like almost like in the bones, achy more like inside the bones.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
see. Ear ringing.
Mm-hmm.
I've still been getting that, but not a lot, but from time to time. I always feel like it's shift related or something. And keep in mind, this is the equinox, and this is when we notice that there's an uptick in people that's sort of waking up to
Hmm.
whatever. So this is an exciting time. So this is two equinoxes that's been really sort of fueled by everything that's going on. For those that aren't awake, I mean, those are huge catalysts for waking up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think between now and December, December 20th, 20 to the 24th or whatever, that energy up at that point, yeah, it's going to be quite a wallop. think, I think we're actually going to feel it building that incoming energy
Right.
of December, from now on in. So, hmm
Uh,
just keep observing.
Athea asks, "Is anyone having their eczema flare up more?" Yeah, I've actually been getting that since probably the last year or whatever. But yeah, I get it right up here. I've been having to use cortisone cream or whatever it is.
What is it? Sorry, I
Eczema,
missed.
eczema.
Oh,
Actually,
oh,
they,
okay.
I think you guys might pronounce it differently elsewhere.
I'm not going to try. I'll get it wrong.
I've
Yeah, I
heard
know
it
what you mean,
pronounced
though, like dry
differently.
skin. Hmm.
Right, right. So, but that's not, I don't know that that's weird because summertime, I'm usually, when the temperature goes up, it usually seems to flare up a little bit more. But yeah, I've noticed that probably last winter, though, start to. Uh,
I do notice like skin change when energy comes in and there's like a purging process going on. I'm more
yeah.
noticing acne may come
Yeah,
up.
that's what I was about to say.
One of the
Sometimes I'll
things.
just,
Yeah,
I'll just notice,
which I've
pimples.
noticed.
Like I'll break out for some
Hmm.
reason, like it's purging
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
If it's or it's the stomach like goes
Hmm.
through that, but I do notice it sort of goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then, of course, I had the sty thing that was happening, and I saw Phil
Yeah.
Good. I went back and watched one of his old videos, and he was having an eye sty issue. So I guess it's something that different people might be dealing with, because that would kind of fit the whole purging thing too. It's kind of like an eye pimple, right? So,
Yeah, who knows with like what's with all the third eye
right.
activations and
Yeah.
what it's purging, what toxins or
Yeah.
whatever it could be purging out.
Yeah.
So, and to notice that just with the extra tension and the just feeling like there's a lot going on in the crown area over the last month. Hmm.
Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, I've had some sinus stuff going on too. Runny nose a little bit here and there, but could be the
Allergies.
yeah, just never know with me because I do have a little bit of allergy stuff.
Sneezing fits are an interesting one out of nowhere.
Yeah, sneezing
Like
fits.
just waking up sneezing like crazy though. It's these kind of sneezing fits are like your whole body is trying to sneeze. Yeah.
Oh, you love my diffuser? Thank you.
That.
My diffuser. Actually, you know what? I got some stuff in it right now that's supposed to help with eye styes. I got just so you guys know. You want to do an essential oil mixture if you're having any eye styes. A few drops of lavender, a few drops of frankincense. You can actually make some eye drops, but I mean, look it up. Don't take my word for it. All right, well, I guess we could wrap this up unless you got anything else to say.
If I remember, it'll be when we're done, but I'm pretty...
Well, I almost forgot that email. I was like, oh gosh, I almost forgot that
Yeah,
email.
I'm glad we had that. Thanks, Maria. It's funny. Sometimes we just have times. But it's good to show up and be here and just say, hey, this is how we're feeling. And not sure how you guys are feeling and experiencing it. But
yeah, Jody.
to just share, you know.
ER 2 times in the last month and a half from asthma attacks. Allergy related and not normal. That's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go there now during this time, you know what I mean? But yeah, I can definitely see issues with that. Let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anything else. Lucidly Lucy, I like your name.
That's a good one.
All right, well, I guess we will see you guys back next week with another report. Let's see, it'll be, gosh, hard to believe, almost October.
I know.
Can you believe it? Gosh, October.
It's weird. It's going by really, really fast. Really fast.
It really is.
Each month is faster than the last month. I
crazy,
feel like, oh, it's the 1st and then it's the 15th. And then it's done. It's like, I can't even keep up anymore.
Were we, did we have a show last week or did we miss it?
No, we did last week. We missed the week before.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, my weeks are all running together. So.
I know. Yeah.
All right, well, lots of love and, yes, love you to life, April. Lots of love, light, and unity, each and every one of you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. Thanks for being here, Michelle.
No problem. Sorry, I wasn't more excited.
All fun. Be sure to check out the website at uotf.net. There you will find the live stream schedule displayed in your local time right there on the front page. Below that, you'll find links to take the Beyond Quantum Healing course at a discounted rate, purchase our book, Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe, in paperback or ebook, or to contact me to schedule a BQH session. At the top of the site, you'll find links to help support the work I do, access the free private forum where you can discuss organizing get-togethers in your area, Mandela effects, and more. Thank you all so much for being here.